Couple of things now. Those others are really important. Now, these are just suggestions by me, because I see the mistakes you're making, and are just some suggestions, but really, really, really good suggestions. You should write out your guess. I prefer that you write it vertically. Some of you aren't doing that because it takes up so much space, but I prefer that you work it vertically because that's how you should do your algebra. What you could do is divide your paper in half and then do the next problem and do it over here if you're really concerned about saving paper and saving space. So you could do that. But you're working vertically, which is actually better for your problem solving skills. Some of you have started doing this, which is perfectly okay. You are working it completely sideways, partly because our videos do this much and then we work down, but you're doing the whole thing like this. However, if you do it this way, some of you make the table first and then you run out of room to write your solve. And so you're squeezing all the numbers in and you can't see it and I can't read it. And so you make a mistake. I can't count how many people I saw that were doing this process who made a mistake in their algebra just because there wasn't enough room. So what you should do, if you're doing it that way, is do the GUE first, do the S, do your substitute, write out your problem as much space as you need, and then do the solve part of the table. Okay? So make the space work for you. So use as much space as you need. Okay. Next, a lot of people are writing their division either like this or like this. Neither one helps you do algebra at all. So you should never do this if you are writing by hand. If you are writing by hand, you should always write it as a fraction. Okay? Why? Because now when it's 3 divided by t, I can actually see what the algebra is. When I see 3 divided by t, there is no way that I can figure out what that algebra is. It's just, most people are not taught that way. Your brain just does not see it. So you should, whenever possible, you should write it as a fraction. Now, why do I even write it like this? Because sometimes I do. Why? Because I'm typing it in the computer and this is difficult to type. Okay, because you have to get the spacing right and you have to do all this formatting. And so I just go 3/6. But if I had my preference, I would always, always, always write it like that because it will help you with your math. You can do math with this. You can do algebra. You can do simplification. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. Okay? So write it as a fraction. The only exception would be if you're typing and then you can go this route. But by hand, it should always be a fraction. Okay. Some of you are using this triangle method to solve for your equation. If you are doing that, then you need to write the triangle and you need to show me your different equations that you have and then circle which one you're going to use so that I can see your thinking. Because if you just write the derived equation and not the root, so work equals force times distance is the equation we've been using. If you're not using that, then I'm not sure if you know what you're talking about, okay? If you don't know what this triangle method is, then don't worry about it. Or if you want to learn it, you have to come see me during tutorial time for me to explain how it works. With that said, there's a lot of math that I know how to do that I have not been sharing with you because we don't have time. So if you are doing it by a different process than what I'm showing, you need to show the steps of your process. Otherwise, I'm going to count it wrong because I'm like, you're not doing how I've shown it. So I don't think you know what you're doing. Okay. So if you're trying to do a cross multiply and divide, you got to do all the steps because most of you that are doing that are doing it wrong, honestly. So you need to show your steps so I can find where your mistake is and help you out. So, all right. That was a lot. And I apologize for how long that was, but I think it was really important. Any questions about secrets to 7-step problems?